This is burdock. Burdock gets to be about 8 feet high. It's got long roots, tap roots that go right down. And this is, dandelion and burdock. That's what they used to make dandelion and burdock out of. But it keeps coming back.
First thing you do with a rose is smell it. And if it doesn't smell of anything, it's very disappointing.
We want to produce flowers that can be grown locally, and there is a growing movement across the country for doing that. So you're finding little local flower growers all over the country with similar visions, maybe not organic, but similar visions. Personally, I wanted to sort of communicate my joy and the knowledge of the natural world as well.
We got onto this land last April 2018. We felt that with increased awareness of what's happened to our oceans with the plastics and our environment with biodiversity, and the floristry industry is very similar. It's part of that. It's extremely wasteful. It puts out a huge amount of plastic and chemicals, and it just seemed a particularly right time to do it.
I think people understand, a lot of people indeed understand organic in terms of vegetables. They can see that vegetables is important, but with flowers they don't see that. And certainly a lot of people who are buying food, they would look at the ingredients and it says, this, and this. Oh, I'm not eating this, it's full of chemicals. But because floristry is not like that, you don't get this is what's on this what went into this. So if you picked up a bunch of flowers, and it might well say, this has come from Kenya, it's been flown on a huge plane, it's been produced by people who have paid almost nothing, their health is extremely bad, and also it's been applied with appalling chemicals, including silver chemicals, which get into the water and kill fish. Also, sometimes we've put dye in these flowers to make them a blue colour because people like blue. They wouldn't buy that. So I think that's it in a sort of nutshell. And then part of the thing that we need to do is educate people.
These are sweet peas, like the sweet pea trellis over there. So we're just planting them. And these are birch. So they like to hold on to things. They've got these
tendrils?
Tendrils, that's it, thank you, Mike. That hold on to, they reach out and hold on to things. So birch is nice for them because it's got lots of different little branches.
Often what you hear people say is, well, these flowers, they're Dutch. And actually, it used to be true. It used to be that a lot of flowers were grown in the Netherlands and came over here. But now what there is they've got some of the biggest buildings in the world, which are the auction houses. So they're not actually growing them. What they're doing is they're a centre. They have these huge auctions and huge amounts of flowers that are flown in from all over the world. They're just dealt with there. There's a market for them there. And there'll be some mainstream high street shops who would be producing flowers, and they might be making claims about, how well they're grown and so on. But when you look into it, you find that actually, no, they're not organically grown or grown in this country, or there's much sort of greenwashing going on, which is why I guess we're glad that we're part of the, we're Soil Association Organic, so that's a standard that we can say that we've got.
From my perspective, Hearts and Flowers is a really interesting project. For people that have got an environmental awareness, there's more obvious things out there that strike you as being very important. But when you go deeply into something, and this project goes into the whole issue around the cut flower industry, you suddenly realise that there's this enormous problem that you never even knew existed.
If we want to have roses in February, we're going to have to do, we're going to have to build cathedrals of heated greenhouses. The capacity for a sustainable floristry industry, yes, but that's not to say we can have the flowers that we have now, because we can't. But there was a floristry industry in Edwardian times. People used to enjoy violets in February and lily of the valley in May, and they used to enjoy roses in June. If I could have my wish, that's what we would have. And in January, you can enjoy dried plants.
So rather than people feeling depressed about what's happening to our world, they can come here and contribute their ideas and their knowledge and take in what we're doing here and appreciate the flowers and the environment and feel better in themselves, go home feeling better and being more active as activists.
I think the personal benefits that I get from working here as a volunteer at Hearts and Flowers is that for this one point in the week, I can look forward to spending pretty much a day in a natural environment. I work, like most people these days, staring at a computer screen for goodness knows how many hours a day, and it's just fantastic to be able to come here and be in nature.
It feels like a small thing that we're doing, but like Helen is saying, we are part of a movement, and lots of small organisations creates a power and create social change, and we all have to do what we can, and this is what we're doing, and we'd like to share it with people. It just feels really important. It is a terrible crisis that we've reached, and it feels really important to have hope in what we're doing, that even though it's a small thing and maybe some people say, oh, how trivial, they're just flowers, but you've got to have hope that what you're doing is going to have an effect.